Hey guys, GHAZZY TV here with another crafting video. I've seen you guys been telling me that you enjoy the crafting video series, so I'm gonna do a couple of more. We got some other guides coming out, like an Aura Bot guide, Magic Find guide, and probably gonna look into more Mischief as well, so it's gonna be pretty fun. But in today's video, to rewind back to this one and focus on what we're doing today, we are going to show you, or I am going to show you, how to make the Explody chess piece the most effective way to do it. And there are a few things that needs to be mentioned about this, and that is, one is the crafting preparations for it, the other one is the purpose of the chess piece itself, because some people want the Explody chest and, you know, a life roll and then they're happy. But for the most part, Explody chess pieces are used for the sake of Awakener orbs crafting, which I will touch on after the video, or well, not after the video, but at the end of the video. Because when you do the Awakener orb, you can do chess pieces like the one I'm using for this build, for example, that has Explode and Spell has increased critical strike chance. You can use it for pretty much any of the other combination of really solid mods that you want on a chess piece, but the most popular ones are either the Spell Crit ones, Frenzy Charge on hit, Power Charge on crit. I do believe I actually do have one of those. So I have a Spell Crit here with Power Charge, but this one doesn't have the Explody. So I'm going to show you how to do this, and the best tool to use is Craft of Exile. So what you do here is you choose your body armor, and then you choose whatever base you're using. Let's say we're using a Strength Intelligence base. Click the fossils and click the influence, choosing that you want to use a Crusader, and the mod you want is the enemies killed, dealing 3% of their life as physical damage. And then you click Compute Best Selection. And what this will tell you is that this is going to be extremely expensive. It's telling you to use a 4-socket resonator, and even that's being the cheapest variant, it's going to cost you 684 chaos, and it's really, really nasty, because this is not guaranteed at once every 11th try. That's a 65% confidence. However, if you change the base type of the chess piece, you'll see that these numbers kind of change. So if I look at the strength, dexterity, intelligence, this is pretty much something no one will use. It's about the same. But if you go in and look at a strength-based chest and you take compute best selection, you don't have to use a 4-socket resonator. So you're actually able to use it with 3-socket resonators, being dense, jagged, and pristine, and suddenly the average cost to craft this is only 357 chaos, with a 63 or 64% confidence, so once every 35 tries. This doesn't guarantee it, of course, it's all about RNG, as goes with all crafting. But GHAZZY, why craft it for 357 average craft cost with a lower than 100% confidence when you can just literally buy the Explody chess piece for like 250 chaos? The main purpose of these type of chess pieces is to use them with an Awakener orb crafting. Now, the way Awakener orb works is that it will take the item you use it on first, destroy that item, take its influence and one of its existing influence modifiers, and bring that to the item you use it on, which will keep its influence and add the old item's influence and modifier, but also keep that item's influence modifier if it has one. But if it has 2 influence modifiers, such as this example here from Jack Baboon, who has the Explody mod, but also increased max mana. So in this case, if you were to Woke Orb this chess piece, it would be a 50-50% chance that it would keep the Explody mod or the percent mana. The other mods would reroll, and obviously you can hit it on that as well, but the odds are phenomenally small. But it would be a 50-50 to hit one of those modifiers to be kept when you use the Woke Orb. So that means that you want to have only the Explody mod on the item from the Crusader pool. Obviously, when you craft it yourself, you might hit 2 modifiers like these chess pieces. So if you look further down, you'll see that this one has 2 Crusader, 2 Crusader, 2 Crusader, 2 Crusader, 2 Crusader, 2 Crusader. I mean, this just keeps going. 2 Crusader. Let's see where the first. Here's the first one. So this one here has a Heist and a Jagged and then a Crusader. But the cost for this one is almost 500 chaos compared to the average cost of 357, which might be a bit more expensive depending on how many tries you go to take it. Obviously, if you do this craft, you might end up with a situation where you have 2 Crusader modifiers. Now, so this market is currently in a rather volatile state. I wanted to show you how to do it either way, because when these chess pieces are selling, it suddenly goes up in price quite drastically and quite quickly, up to 500 plus chaos. But I wanted to show you guys for the sake of other leagues and if this market changes, so that you can know how to do it yourself, because this is a very, very profitable craft in the first couple of weeks of a league. So as we follow the instructions on here, we can see that I'm using a dexterity base, which is equal to a strength base. These are the two best bases to craft the Explody one, for the sake of woke orbing, so either pure dexterity or pure strength. And it's going to tell me that the average cost is, with these fossils, 3135, 357 average cost. And that is dense, jagged, and pristine. So I'm just going to go ahead and take the pristine, take the dense, and take the jagged, and then craft it like this. And this one failed, and we just keep going till it hits. And that's the RNG power through that you have to do, right? And once you hit it, then you'll have to see if you have an open or another Crusader modifier or not on the chess piece. And that's about it. That's very easily the process of doing it. I will, once we hit this, I will talk about the different aspects of what you can do with it for the actual sake of profit, because the base itself is not necessarily always profitable, but other ways of doing it. And that's the profitable part of this video, if you will. So the only modifier we really care about here is obviously the Explody modifier. So we use jagged, dense, and pristine fossils. And there we go. We now have an Explody chess piece. And by looking at these modifiers, I do not have another Crusader modifier. So this is now a done chess piece. I didn't spend nearly as enough currency. Obviously, I got a bit lucky because it's 1 in 35. However, this is how you do it. I could have ended up in a situation where I would have 2 Crusader modifiers, right? And if that happens, I would then be in a position where I would have to decide how I'm going to approach it. Let's say we know that the Exploding mod is a prefix, right? So if you have a prefix open and the other Crusader mod is a suffix, then you would rather use the bestiary craft, which you can find if you click H and go to recipes and search for suff. For example, add a prefix, remove a random suffix, which will give you the availability to save not removing the other Crusader mod. Obviously you can get unlucky, get another Crusader mod removing that. And the other option is obviously just annulment orb. Just put an anal orb on it and pray it doesn't hit the Crusader mod, if you really want to do it. Now obviously I could sell this for 500 chaos and profit, or I could use a woke orb, and that's the next part of this video that I would like to talk about, because these things are very easy to do. It just costs currency, which is really annoying because it's about RNG. You can get unlucky and have to spend a lot of currency. You can also get lucky, but what you have to do when you look at profit crafting is that you have to take the average cost of crafting something, and I usually take the average plus about 20-25% when I do calculations like that, and then compare the end result of my craft compared to what they would approximately sell for versus the approximate average craft cost plus 20%. And if the difference is big enough between those two numerical values, then I do the craft. That's how I do profit crafts personally. So this is one of the crafts I love doing at the start of leagues because the difference is very big. It's rather small now. It's still profitable for the most part, but not as much. And that has more to do with the market being saturated, which is what we're going to talk about now. So now that we know that we have Exploded chess piece, we know that it's the meta of the current league is Frenzy Charge on hit or Power Charge on crit. Spells have crit. So if I then look at the market, without looking at different bases, we're just looking at the modifiers. We'll take the Explody, and what I'll do then is I can add Power Charge on crit. So if I search for these two modifiers, then you can see that there are 13 results. This is a 5 link, 8 exalteds, but we know that this one can be sold for 500 chaos, and well, 500 divided by the current market of ratios, that's about 8x. So if I were to do this, it would need to have a prefix open for a life roll, or at least some resistances. I mean, even this one has life roll and resistances, and it's only 8.5. So I would argue for the Power Charge on crit, it's not a very profitable state because it's about the same price as my current chess piece. And I mean, why would I then invest to an Awakener orb and then craft it? I would just lose currency doing that. So what I then do is take the next thing that I know is popular, which is Frenzy Charge on hit. If I can do this, I'm blind. If we search for this, you can see that Astral Plates, well, this is, okay. So we can see here that this is a Vol Regalia with Frenzy Charge and hit, really bad energy shield roll with Explody, 950 chaos. That's a lot of currency. 950 divided by 60, that's 15.8 exalteds. However, this one here sold for 8x. And this one has no life roll, but does have the friend to charge and hit and the Explody. And I can then verify that it seems a lot like the Vol Regalas are the best approaches to do this. And it seems like this is 15x, 13x, and they're terrible, terrible energy rolls. So I should be guaranteeing a higher profit from this by simply woke orbing a frenzy charge and hit with Explody on a Vol Regalia. So the next step, if I were to do that, if that was my decision, I would then, personally, I would look for a 6-link chest already. So I would look for a 6-link Vol Regalia, and it was, the influence is Redeemer. So then I would look for Redeemer chest piece, and I'll see that this would cost me 450 chaos. However, I know we want the energy shield to be top, so we want that at 86, and the price is 550C. That's a bit too much than I want to spend. So if I then search for non-Vol Regalias that are 6-linked, you see that I then have to pay about 200 chaos for it, which means I would then have to look at the prices on a Redeemer's Exalted Orb and verify if that's going to be worth it. So that's going to be cheaper for me to buy a 6-link proper item level 86 Vol Regalia, then buy the Redeemer Orb myself, and then I would have to craft the Frenzy Charge and Hit, which I do believe is easiest done with alterations, if I'm not mistaken. So that is one way of finding out a craft that you can do. There are plenty of ways to do this. You can look for level of active, let's see if I can find a level of active skill gems, for example. You can see that this one right here has plus level of socketed active skill gems, which is a shaper modifier. Explody with quality on a zodiac leather, and there's like a little bit of chaos res and fire res. That's 20x. However, it's been up for 3 hours. We have a astral plate with a shit amount of life, but this one also has a socket that have minus mana cost, 32x. That's actually pretty juicy. So again, what you want to do once you've achieved this, or before you start doing this process, is to basically decide what are you looking to craft, what's the end game goal with your purpose. Now for me, I didn't really have a goal with this, so that's why I'm a little bit in the dark here. But I wanted to show you how to craft the more expensive base. However, when it comes to this one, a lot of people have a tendency of crafting this with alterations. The alterations is 1 in 1722 alterations. It's a little bit more expensive than the fossil craft in the end, but it gives you a higher probability of not hitting a second Explody modifier. However, buying 1,700 alterations can be very annoying, and the carpal tunnel effect is going to be real, spamming that shit on the chest piece. I prefer the fossils, it's faster, it's smoother, but it does come with a small risk of doing it, so alteration crafting is another approach. Then again, the basis is telling me that it's 1,700, and just to check how much it is on hybrid pieces, it's 2.2k. So again, another great example of you needing to double check which type of base would be best to craft on. In this case, a pure strength or pure dexterity base is the best to achieve the Exploding modifier. Anyways, I think that covers everything I wanted to show you guys. Sadly, we don't have any finished crafts in this video, only a prepared base to woke orb, because when you do the woke orb in the current state of crafting in 3.12, can't really do much more than woke orbit and pray. So I just hope you guys have any use of this video, and if so, hit the like button, subscribe for more content. Until next time, boys, stay safe and keep rocking.